This request comes from Speed Punch on what if Vegeta became a Super Saiyan before Goku. The turning point is after Vegeta's full power attack against Frieza, where, rather than lose the will to fight, his rage turns inwards in his frustration at himself as he becomes a Super Saiyan. Still desperate to escape Frieza's grasp, Vegeta doesn't wait around and tries to defeat Frieza immediately, but Frieza is able to quickly summon 70% of his power to keep him in the fight, even if at a disadvantage. This goes on long enough for Goku to arrive, at which point Piccolo tells him he can hear Frieza is still only using 70%, and it's best for Goku to help Vegeta before Frieza gets a chance to use more. Though 20 times Kaioken isn't enough to do any damage, it is a good enough distraction for Kuririn to get a direct hit in with the Kienzan before Vegeta charges up a Garikohor to obliterate Frieza. With their alliance over, Vegeta still spares the Dragon Team for the moment, when having used up enough ki their combined strength may prove a threat, and being in a good mood after overthrowing Frieza, instead telling them he'll see them again for the Dragon Balls once he solidified himself as the ruler of the galaxy, before escaping in one of the Ginyu Tokusentai attack balls. When the others return to Earth in Goku's ship, Kaio communicates with Kami to revive all of Frieza's victims, and then telling the Namekians for those he's tutoring to be gradually revived over the next 130 days. Seeing Vegeta's power has Goku know he needs to become a Super Saiyan to avoid certain doom next time, with him asking Gohan exactly how Vegeta achieved it. After figuring out it must be through rage, Goku does image training to imagine a scenario in which either Frieza or Vegeta slaughtered everyone on Namek, with Goku eventually succeeding in attaining the form. Fearful of Vegeta's return, the Namekians also relocate Namek to another part of space. Meanwhile, Vegeta, having seen Kakaroto's strength surpassed his own when removing Super Saiyan, pushes him to become even stronger, also defeating Cold when he comes out of the shadows for revenge, and finding the full resources of his new empire perfect for doing so. It takes a while for Vegeta to organize a business that fractured with news of Frieza's demise, with him making his way to Earth at the same date Frieza would normally. The battle between he and Goku is intense, but Vegeta is eventually defeated, with Goku sparing him once more when acknowledging he couldn't have cultivated his ki so much if not for Vegeta as a rival. Vegeta leaves Earth, his mind changed from the fact there can be more than one Super Saiyan, and that he was defeated by a low-class Saiyan, convincing him there's more he must achieve to fully realize his potential as the ultimate warrior. It's during this time he also fights against Abor and Kador when they are recalled to what was planet Frieza, now new planet Vegeta, and slays them after realizing how strong their fused self could become if left to improve. It's during this time that he finds the same room of spirit and time as Frieza did in Super, which allows Vegeta to break beyond the Super Saiyan wall before returning to Earth. By the point all this has been achieved, 3 years have passed, and he's there in time to quickly dismantle 17 and 18 soon after they've been unleashed, before conquering the planet. Piccolo fuses with Kami, but in realization of this still not being enough, he takes Gohan into the room of spirit and time to get as strong as they can. Though Gohan doesn't master the Super Saiyan form, he still attains Super Saiyan and becomes strong enough the pair overwhelm Vegeta, with Piccolo not being merciful enough to give Vegeta another chance, not viewing himself as suitable for becoming Kami when more interested in being a martial artist. Piccolo lets Popo pick a worthy successor, with Tenshinhan being considered worthy when having long since moved from the impurities of his past self. 7 years later, Dabra proves an unprecedented threat, with the returning Goku proposing he, Gohan, and Piccolo retreat when Kuririn is turned into stone, with the room being used for Goku to bring Gohan to the next level, with his time in the next world having allowed Goku to master Super Saiyan, as well as him him seeing Gohan's rage may push him even further. Things go quicker than their normal time in there, with Gohan attaining Super Saiyan 2 within the day, regaining his fighting instincts, defeating Dabra, and, after Goku's time on Earth is up, Gohan accepts Shin's offer to go through the Zetor Sword training, and eventually getting his potential unleashed when not having his father to rely on against unprecedented threats. For the same reason, Piccolo also requests to go through such. As for the Budokai, there being far fewer opponents out of his league convinces Yamcha to participate in case such a lucky scenario occurs, with the Battle Royale allowing him to become champion, until Gohan takes his title in the 26th when needing to support his family. Now Mr. Satan's career is over. For Super, Beerus stays asleep when only 4 Saiyans remain, with no Dragon Balls. Sorbet doesn't go to Earth and instead fruitlessly tries holding on to territory. Eventually, Frieza's remnants find Paragus and Broly on Vampa, with Paragus using Broly as his enforcer to lead this group as he seeks to conquer the universe. News of a Saiyan expanding Frieza's former organization has Granola wish to become the strongest in the universe, with Broly and Paragus being eliminated. The Gammas are created and prove too much for Gohan and Piccolo without the events of Super to make them far stronger, with them losing their lives before Hedor eventually becomes aware of Magenta's true intentions and assassinates him, with no Cell meaning no Cell Max. Speaking of which, as in many similar scenarios, Cell is eventually unleashed, and in place of Frieza and Cold Cells, has those of Dabra and Yamcha. This has a familiar endgame for regular viewers, with at best spitting on one Gamma before the other destroys him. In a non-super scenario, Gohan and Piccolo's combined efforts are able to overwhelm Cell, despite a spit keeping them on their toes. For GT, Tenshinhan decides to go into the Room of Spirit and Time to test the limits of what he can achieve at around the same time Pilaf goes after the Ultimate Dragon Balls, making his wish to rule the world, which, while likely ending in a quick revolution, brings Gohan, Piccolo, and a stowaway Pan into space, with things going similarly to normal, until Baby arrives on Earth, with Piccolo having not been careless enough to get cut as Trunks was, and the far lower caliber of those remaining on Earth. Baby hides in Tenshinhan's body after possessing all of Earth, and waits for the trio to return with the Ultimate Dragon Balls, his claim of putting them back giving him the opportunity to wish to attain the power of his complete being, and immediately overpowers the trio, while 7 of his followers catch the Dragon Balls before they can scatter. Baby lets Piccolo and Pan go away when having the possibility of still wishing for Planet Sufru's restoration if Piccolo was kept alive, which occurs soon after Gohan takes Goku's place at being saved by Kibito, having his tail restored and becoming a Super Saiyan 4 with Pan's help, easily obliterating Baby. Piccolo still sacrifices himself, with Earth having no way of being restored, when nobody alive is aware of Namek's new location, though Kyle offers to try and find it. Rodai Kaioshin uses his authority to argue against using the Dragon Balls, with Gohan conceding the Dragon Balls have only caused problems recently, and that those of this new Earth should use their own power to lead it in the right direction. The ascent of a Royal Saiyan has led to a copy of Planet Vegeta to become one in which humanity build a new hopeful future upon. It's in this scenario that we see not only one of the few cases in which we can implement a what if Vegeta never turned good scenario, but how deadly of a threat Vegeta would pose to incentivize the cast's improvement if living up to his own mindset of superiority, how effectively he was used for driving conflict in the plot through his selfishness, and, most of all, how limited one of the most dynamic characters in the series would be if cut short ironically through their own successes. Thank you for having watched through this what if. Comment any requests you have for your own or any type of Dragon Ball video, and subscribe to not miss them. Check out this playlist of older what ifs, and if wanting to see one particularly about someone going Super Saiyan before Goku, check out this short one on Bardock going Super Saiyan against Frieza.